it'd have to be 8 years at least. My bike's just sat in the shed, neglected, caked in dust, chain was rusty, just hadn't even thought about riding it, you know. And 4 weeks back I got it out, I gave it a good clean up and just went for a ride, and that it turned out to be one of the best decisions I think I've probably ever made. So right at the start of this year, Gemma and the kids and I, we all got sick. We had fevers, wiped us out, and just as I was recovering, I had a really bad flare-up with my Crohn's disease. The combo of the two, I was just buckled, like, I don't even know how to describe it. I was just on zero, so flat, mentally, physically. And my health leading up to this, probably over 18 months, 2 years, in terms of my Crohn's, hasn't been that good. I sort of felt like I've been on a steady decline. And so this was like a turning point, you know. I was like, I have to do something here because I'm pretty miserable. My quality of life is shit, and I'm not really being the best dad I can be or husband, you know. So I know the things that help me the most are exercise and diet. And you know, over that time period, I made several attempts to get out and train, and I'd string, you know, a few runs together here and there, but I just couldn't get in a routine with it. Like, couldn't stick to it. And so I just thought, let's mix it up, do something different, and I got my bike out, went for that ride, and I really enjoyed it. I've always loved cycling, but it's always kind of been like a cross-training tool for running, so to just go out and ride was just really nice. And I went again the next day and the day after, and I made it my goal for that week to get 5 rides in. And I remember that seemed ambitious at the time, but I got it done. I think it was like 4.5 hours for the week, and then I did 7 the next week, 7.5 the week after that, and I think this week I'll get like 8.5. I haven't done that kind of consistent training in such a long time, and I can't tell you how good it is, man. Like, it has made such a change in my life. I've got so much more energy. I feel completely different. I'm in much more of a positive headspace, and it's like I've tried to enjoy things in moderation more over the past few years out of necessity, because I've got young kids now and I just don't have the time available that I used to. But this past month, like, I've realised that it's that consistency in the routine of training, like, that I love. That's how I enjoy it, and it's the simplest things, just like, you know, watching you run on your ride, going to Strava each day and eating the same thing for breakfast and going to bed early and just being locked in. And I think it goes from, like, training goes from something that you know you should be doing to something that you want to do, and then you start to care about it, and that's the big switch.
Yeah, you're way happier. You're much more yourself again when you exercise and eat well. I feel like you've got your mojo back, which is good for all of us.
get my hours in this morning. This is one of my favourite little stretches of road here, looping around town. But yeah, it's definitely been challenging carving out the time to do like 7, 8+ hours of training a week. So through the week I've been getting up super early and I ride mostly in the dark. So it's the weekend, which is just nice because I'm not as pressed for time and I can ride more in daylight. So just that alone kind of feels like a bit of a holiday. But it is a little bit wet this morning. Definitely forgot how bad rim brakes are on carbon. But yeah, I'm going to keep cracking and get home. I still want to get home in a reasonable hour. So Gemma can go for her run. I'll watch the kids and we'll go about the rest of the day. High five. Down low? Yeah. Too slow. Hey, goody boy. Hello, fella. Time has definitely been my biggest excuse as to why, like, I haven't done stuff or exercise the past couple of years. It's really easy when you're parenting young kids and you throw in a condition like Crohn's or whatever. Everyone's got their own stuff they're dealing with, their own problems, but it's really easy to get stuck in this cycle where it's like you're not getting proper sleep, so you're tired all the time, and you don't eat properly because you're tired. You feel like shit because you don't eat properly, and then the last thing you feel like doing is any kind of exercise. What I've had to come to terms with is just that the time will be there somewhere. It just won't be for as long as I want. It won't be when I want. You do what you got to do to make it work. Like I said, I've been getting out super early, but training at 4:30 in the morning in the dark is not my first preference. So it's a sacrifice, and it's not so much a sacrifice for me personally. It's more a sacrifice for my family because neither of our kids have been the best sleepers, and both of them have been 100% breastfed. So Gemma basically hasn't slept much at all for like 3 years. And it's always been my job to be there in the morning, get the kids up, give her that extra time to rest. And even when I get out early, I'm not home by the time the kids get up. So it means she's getting up earlier than she would have been otherwise. And, that's a sacrifice for her, which she's willing to make for me. She's always been super supportive and encouraged me to exercise, so I'm lucky and I'm very appreciative of her doing that for me. I do always feel a bit of guilt though, just like Gemma having to do that for me, buggering off out the door to go ride 2 hours or whatever and leaving my family at home. But yeah, it's like I've been so sick of just being exhausted all the time and just complaining. I was sick of complaining. Like every day I'd be like, oh, I'm so tired. I'm so sick of doing that, man. And I've got so much more energy, even with the built up fatigue that you accumulate with training consistently. I have so much more energy. And like that means I have energy to spend better quality time with my kids. And I feel so much better about myself. So like with all of that, I'm going to be a better dad, a better husband. And, my family's everything. That's the most important thing to me. So everything you do in life, you're going to have to sacrifice something. You have to weigh up whether that's worth it for you. And for me, this is definitely worth it. Hang on, I'll get you one. Whoa. Got both. So what I've been eating is a big part of this, and I'm going to try and keep this simple because it's like 8 p.m. and I kind of want to get this done and go to bed, to be honest with you. But for about 9 years, I followed a vegan diet, and I made that change right when I first started running, pretty much back in the day. And it had a huge impact on my life. Pretty much what happened back then is like what's happening to me now. I just had to rediscover it all. But my health improved drastically after years of struggling, and I fell in love with running. I started running ultras, And that's sort of, it became my life. Like I would train for them, race, and like everything was devoted to that. And jumped to 2018. Most of you guys know this story. If you don't, there's some old videos on my channel you can watch. But I ran the TDS in France, and straight after that race, I got really sick, which was due to complications with my Crohn's. Landed in a hospital. It was a very traumatic experience. It left me really shook up, and it took me a long time to recover from. And post that experience is kind of where I sort of lost my way a bit. And probably the best way to put it is I felt conflicted, because it was like this thing that I loved so much and believed so much in, like running and my diet were kind of linked, and I felt like they sort of let me down, which, yeah, context is important there, because like TDS for me was like really pushing it to a limit. You run a risk when you do that. But that's how I felt internally, you know? And I didn't know what to do. I was like, part of me wanted to keep training and racing. The other part was just shit scared of something like that happening again. And so I kept running, but it just became more and more recreational. I think I've ran like 150k since the TDS. And as time went on, I just accepted things, and you know, my health wasn't terrible, but it definitely wasn't what it was, and I kind of just accepted that and stopped looking for ways to improve it. And I can't explain why that is, but that's just how it went down. And then jump again to 2022. My wife Gemma, who was also vegan, she'd been vegan since I met her. She was having a lot of trouble with her digestion, had been for some time, and she decided to start eating meat again just to try something, and it helped her out a lot. So she did that. I kept doing my thing. But after a while, it was inconvenient always doing 2 separate meals all the time. We had a lot going on. We'd just become new parents. And in the end, I gave up my vegan diet and I started eating meat again. And that's how I've been eating since I went for that initial ride that I spoke about, which at the point of filming this was about 5 weeks ago. And it was like when I made that decision, I just made it out of convenience, really, more than anything else. But I knew deep down that it probably, for me personally, wasn't going to be the best thing. And I went for that ride, and I was like, I'm just going to go back to my old way of eating and just try it, see what happens. And I had, like, for tea that night, I just had roast veg and tempeh or something like that from memory. And I remember I woke up the next day and I just, no bullshit, I felt the difference. Like, I felt lighter, just how my stomach felt. And that kind of sparked a bit of hope, because I wasn't hopeful going into it. I was just, like I said, I had accepted things for what they were. And within probably 3-4 days, my digestion was normal. And that was just crazy. From what I had been dealing with for the past couple of years, it was crazy. I couldn't believe it. Gemma couldn't believe it. It was like too good to be true. And I thought, it's coincidence, it's not going to last. Then it did last, and it's changed everything. It's like, it's a combination of exercise and diet, but the big thing with diet is how it improves my digestion. With that, my quality of life just goes way up, man. It's if you know, you know, but like, it's super hard to be happy and enjoy life and be a pleasant person to be around when you got to go to the toilet like 10-15 times a day. It just straight up sucks. So yeah, honestly, I still can't believe it, but it's pretty cool. I gave myself a week to make this video, and time's up, so this is farewell for now. I'm trying not to be this guy. My mum got me this for Christmas one year, but this is me. So trying to keep it simple, you know. But before I roll out, I thought I'd let you guys know that by the time you're watching this, there'll be another video up on my channel that I made in 2023. It's of the Buffalo Stampede. I went and filmed at the race that year, and I basically documented a couple of runners doing different events there. And yeah, it was like my first time doing anything like that. And I remember at the time it was super like nerve wracking, but I thought it turned out pretty cool. So yeah, it's been up on their channel for a couple of years, but I thought it'd be nice to share it here with everyone that watches my channel and check it out. Let me know what you think. I randomly did my first ever bike race today, which was quite an eye opener. It was sort of like racing a 10K, I felt like. So yeah, it was pretty painful, but it was fun. So I might try and keep doing a few more of those. I didn't get any footage, but maybe I'll document the next one a bit. And that's pretty much it. If you want to support my channel, myself, my family, hit the Buy Me a Coffee link in the description. I know I haven't made a video in like 2 years, but I would like to keep making more of them, so I appreciate any bit of support, and it definitely makes it a little bit more feasible. That's it, man. Have a good night, day, whatever it is for you. Thank you.